Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from another double up game. I am once again playing with Antisocial Monkey. And in this game we're going to be looking at another one of those big vertical traits here in set 12, and that is going to be the Frost trait. In particular, we're going to be looking at Hwei in this game, a unit I have not really played through at any point in time in this set previously, so we'll get a chance to look at some Hwei gameplay and just explore the Frost trait in a little bit more detail. Now, we are playing this here on, I think this is the second full patch of set 12. We're about a month into the set at this point. I've talked about this in other videos, but the balance has not been really that great. It's mostly been all 2-cost and 3-cost rerolls. By the way, I didn't like any of these options at all as far as the initial portal goes, but we decided that we thought the ascending augments would be the least bad of these choices, and that's the one that we've ended up taking. So we will start with a silver augment, then a gold, and then a prismatic. I actually really hate the third augment being prismatic because it can scramble the game so much, but that's the direction we end up in this game. All right, as I was saying, so this is, like I said, we're about a month into the set. It's been, honestly, I had really high hopes for this set, and so far it's been pretty disappointing overall. I think the biggest problem is just that the balance has been really bad in this set so far, just like really, really bad, unfortunately. And that's kind of a problem because I think the charms mechanic is actually fine. Like, it's not the most impactful mechanic having the charms. I think they've been okay, but just the balance has been really, really bad in this set. Like, with the problem being that it's just all been rerolling every single patch. For whatever reason, they have really, really struggled to get the balance right. The 4 costs have just not been in a good place the entirety of this set. By the way, I also end up getting an RE here, and ASM typically plays the RE reroll, or at least he's been doing that for a little while now. He had multiple different copies of like all of the units that play into that board. Lilia, Poppy, the Zoe, and then I think he ended up getting a run of RE super early in this game. As it turns out, he's also going to be uncontested in this lobby too, so we are quite happy to have him play that when he's not really going to be contested on units. I end up hitting a 2-star Elise here, but I really didn't have any sense for what I was particularly going to play. I was just kind of waiting to see what I could find, and then I was going to look to adjust from there. All right, first augment is going to be silver, as mentioned. And these tend to be a little bit less impactful. I was thinking about pumping up just to get scaling attack speed. Also, I like stationary support, but some of you might remember I did a video with mages. I think it's the video I posted right before this one, with Spoils of War, and I had the chance to take that again. So I was like, you know what? I think I'll just go ahead and take that. I think I'm reasonably happy with that. Now, Spoils of War, as I said, it's one of the best performing silver augments, not at the gold or the prismatic, but one of the best performing silver augments in the data. And I had the chance to take it again here. The only thing is you want to take this if you think your board's going to be able to win streak, or at least be reasonably strong. If you're just going to be lost streaking, it's not a very good augment. But it does give you 25% odds to gain a gold coin every time that you kill something on an enemy board. I thought that by having the early 2-star Blitzcrank with a Steadfast Heart, that would be enough that I would be able to win, at least be able to kill a decent amount of units in these early rounds. So I thought that I'd be happy to take that and just kind of go with it. I don't really have much in the way of damage right now, but my front line's really good, and I've always said I feel like having strong front line's more important at the start of the game than like having great carry items. In the late game, that tends to reverse, and having like ideal carry items and really strong damage tends to overwhelm strong front line in the late game. But in the early game, having 2-star frontliners seems to be a little bit better off. All right, now I wasn't sure what I was going to play. Right up until this point in time, I actually end up getting a Swain in my store early on. And in addition to that as well, Antisocial Monkey, I believe, actually got a double Hwei in his store as well. It was either this round or the next round. And as soon as we saw that, we're like, well, we kind of have all the pieces to just play a Frost composition here. And we'll just look to go in that direction by playing Frost units. So, oh, he ended up sending me a zillion. That's right. I believe he gets double Hwei in his store, like, literally next round. So, like, we have all these. I have a whole bunch of Frost units, and I was like, okay, I can just look to play into this. I was looking around the lobby. I didn't see anyone else look like they were going to be playing Vertical Frost. So, I figured that seems as good a direction of anything else to play in this game. I can take this Steadfast Heart that's on Blitzcrank, and that can, like, go over to Swain later on. And I can probably try to either go vertical and play Olaf Diana, or I can just look to reroll for Hwei 3-star and Swain 3-star. And it's actually the latter was the option that we ended up doing, just because ASM hit all these different Hweis. So we decided, well, once he started hitting all these Hweis, we might as well try to 3-star the unit and then look to play through that option. All right, as a reminder for what Frost does, my past self is highlighting it briefly over there, but Frost is a trait that gives AD and AP to the units that hold it, to the units that have the Frost ability. The deeper you go into the trait, yeah, there's the Hwei popping up, and there's the other Hwei popping up. He already has 5 Aries, by the way, as well. Yeah, it's a lot of Aries for this early in the game. And ASM is actually taking a pretty big hit to his economy by grabbing all these. Look at he actually had a 5 Frost store there. He had 2 Hweis, 2 Warwicks, and a Zillion in his store. We were like, why couldn't I have had that store? He is actually taking a pretty big penalty to his econ to hold double Hweis this early, but it'll really help my board out if he's able to send me a 2-star Hwei down the road. So even though that's going to cost him a fair amount of gold to hold 6 golden Hweis on his bench, he is going to go ahead and do that. So he's being a good teammate there. Anyway, to get back to my point about the Frost trait, the trait gives AD and AP to the units that have it, so attack damage and ability power. So if you are going to get a Frost emblem, which is a craftable emblem, then you want to put it on carry units. It's not something you want to put on tank units per se. Some of the things, like a portal emblem is better to put on a tank unit because portal trait gives shielding to the units, but Frost Emblem's kind of a carry item. And the deeper you go into the trait, the more AD and AP the units get. The other big thing the Frost trait does is when units die on your team, they will create ice soldiers that they leave behind. And the more ranks you have in Frost, the more ice soldiers are left behind when your units die. So at Frost 3, you only get 1 ice soldier, and I believe at Frost 9, you get 4 of them. Also at the top tier, the Frost soldiers start exploding and dealing damage. So anyway, I am last pick on this carousel, and out of these options here, I was like, okay, well, I don't know that I really need a tier that badly, and this is also on a 3 gold champ, so we'll just go ahead and take this and take the Ezreal here and hold on to that. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Zillion because that will give me Frost trade. Again, I really wish that I had been able to, or I could also play the Swain. I decided I would play the Swain. I thought it over, and then I was like, okay, I'll play the Swain because the Zillion really doesn't deal much in the way of damage. The Zillion, he brings a lot of crowd control. Like, he has his time bomb that freezes someone on the enemy team, and that can be pretty useful, but I think Swain's ability is going to be a little bit more useful here, with Swain also being a 3 cost and Zillion being a 2 cost. It's not always the correct decision to play the higher cost unit, but most of the time it is. Now, this other person actually has a board that's somewhat similar to mine. They actually also have Spoils of War, and they have a Triss back there with a Rage Blade. That's actually pretty bad because my board is tanky, but my board does not kill things quickly. And the Triss having the Rage Blade means that unit's going to ramp up. Also, it turns out I'm going to get reinforced on, and yeah, my board is pretty decent, but it's definitely not going to beat 2 enemy boards this early in the game. And so I'm going to end up losing here, which is a shame because I'm at 19 gold. I really would like to be at 20, but I don't want to sell that Zoe because I'm trying to help Antisocial Monkey make his board, and then I also didn't want to sell the Zillion because I'm going to need that later on. Anyway, the only thing I found thus far is a Zoe, so I will go ahead and send that, and that'll just try to help ASM make his board. Again, he's playing kind of the standard RA board. It actually did help. It actually did make Zoe 2-star over there, so that, that's not bad. He's already on 6 Aries over there. We're like, what the heck? 6 Aries on 2-6. This has got to be pretty ridiculous. Now, if he could just get some frontline here. He's only found 1 Poppy this far, and he doesn't have any tank items, so he's going to have to solve his frontline situation, but having 6 Aries on the end of stage 2 is pretty nice. Also, this person's already found a Gwen, so, okay, they've obviously found the 2% odds Gwen. At least Swain gets off his cast before he dies in this fight, which I think is the most important thing. We are getting some coins from Spoils of War. Again, I went by that maybe a little too quickly because the previous video I posted was also with Spoils of War. But Spoils of War is every time you kill an enemy unit, it's 25% odds to drop something, and it's 90% odds to drop a gold coin and 10% odds to drop a chest that could have a component or like a champion duplicator in it. So yeah, and by the way, here I now get a Hwei as well, and that's going to be nice because now I can start itemizing the Hwei, and I'm going to be happy to do that. Anyway, though, I also, long-term, I'm going to transfer these tank items over to Swain. I mentioned that before. The reason why I don't want to do that yet is I do think it's better to play the 2-star Blitzcrank with Vanguard trait over a 1-star Swain that does not have Shapeshifter trait in. Yeah, I think that the 2-star Blitzcrank with Vanguard is going to tank significantly better. So I'm kind of waiting to hit like Swain 2-star. before I want to make that substitution. This is nice, though, getting a rod for Hwei. So Hwei is an AP caster. His ability is called Storm. I'll read the full description here. And it's actually, now is a good time because we're on the minion round here. Go ahead and read the description of Hwei's ability. So he's Frost and Blaster traits. He's one of the main carries in a Frost team composition. You can kind of play through Twitch early, and then you can kind of shift over to Olaf late or Hwei later on. It's kind of your choice. Ability is called Storm, costs 40 mana. It says paint a lightning bolt on the target. A moment later, the bolt strikes, deals magic damage to the target and magic damage to adjacent enemies every third cast. Paint 2 extra bolts on the lowest percent health enemies. So his randomization is pretty standard for like an AP caster. AP is good. Spear of Shojin's good. Blue buff is good. You can try to do both, actually, because his mana cost is 40. If you do Spear of Shojin and blue buff, his mana cost will go down to 30, and then Shojin means he casts in 2 autos. Because he gets that extra ability on his third cast, it is important to try to get as many casts off as possible with him. So I've seen people sometimes say that like red buff is pretty good on him because it just gives him more attack speed so he casts faster and gets that third cast off more often. Gnasher's Tooth is also quite good. That's why I put the bow on him, because it could be Gnasher's Tooth or it could also be like a red buff potentially. All right, now next option here, I'm looking at the different options. I actually do have Spellblades, which would not be bad here. Also have Little Buddies would be pretty good here, but I actually make a big mistake, my biggest mistake of the game. I take You Have My Sword here, and the reason why is I thought that I had a tier on my bench. I just got mixed up on what I had. I thought that I had a tier on my bench and I needed a sword to make Spear of Shojin because I wanted to make Spear of Shojin on Hwei. But instead I actually already had a sword on my bench, not a tier. I already had a sword, so now I have double swords. Like, the only reason I took that is I was like, okay, I can make Spear of Shojin if I take this. But no, I actually can't make Spear of Shojin because I had the wrong component. And this is just not a great augment for me. This is something you want to make if your whole team is physical damage. It can be pretty good. You get an extra sword, and then the whole team, I think, deals 15% extra physical damage. But for most of this game, Hwei is actually going to be my main carry. And, like, why do I care if Hwei deals 15% extra physical damage? The sword is not needed. The sword actually is going to sit on my bench for a little while, not even being used. And I don't need my AP my AP caster dealing additional physical damage. It's just not what I need here. So yeah, that was a real mistake, and I could have done a lot better. Little Buddies actually would not have been terrible here because I am playing some low cost units, but I think Vertically Inclined would have been even better because I'm playing kind of a vertical Frost board, and that would mean I do 15% more damage to anyone that's not running Frost or Vanguard, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Now, over there on ASM's board, you can see he's already hit RE3. He also opted to take a Scholar Crest, so he's going to look to play 4 Scholars. That's something that is not a core part of the build, but it's like once you hit your 3 stars, you can look to go 4 Scholars, and that's going to make it vastly easier for him to play 4 Scholars. Ideally, what you do, because like you naturally play 2 Scholars on that board anyway. You play the Zoe and you play the Ahri, and they're both Scholars. By the way, here I run up against someone who's already hit a 3-star Cogmaul, and yeah, my board definitely doesn't beat a 3-star Cogmaul yet. But anyway, for the Ahri board, like I said, you naturally play 2 Scholars, and then like to cap out the board later on, you can look to play 4 Scholars, and that makes it a lot easier to play 4 Scholars by getting the +1 from the emblem. You can see this fight's not especially close. We're actually kind of lucky to. I was actually kind of lucky to be on the win streak that I was because I have a lot of 1-stars on my board. So yeah, he'll do that, and now all he has to do is find like a Rise or a Bard, and then he'll be able to play 4 Scholars, so that's pretty nice. Now, there is a spatula on this carousel. The spatula would be absolutely perfect because the way that you make a Frost board really strong is you get a spatula and you get +1 Frost from either making it with a spatula. The recipe, I believe, what is the recipe for the Frost emblem? You know, I've been playing this set and I still don't even know what all the spatula recipes are. We're also about to get those golden frying pans that are going to make things even more complicated. It is spatula plus vest. So Frost is one of those traits that really does get a lot stronger if you can take the +1, if you can get the +1 from an emblem or something else. By the way, here I'm going to send this Poppy over to ASM because he's really hurting on Poppies. He already has the RE3 style, but I think he still had 1-star Poppy. And then I am going to take the component Anvil here. And so now I can belatedly get this tier, so I can actually make the Spear of Shojin. But like I said, that was kind of a kind of a waste for me. So we'll go ahead and do this. Again, blue buff is good on Hwei. Spear Shojin also good. You can make both of them, but I'm not getting a ton of tiers, so that seems a little bit unlikely. And then I do have like the components for an Infinity Edge, which I would want to put on someone later on, but not on anyone who's on my team right now. So yeah, we'll just continue to hang in there. Probably should have bought this charm, reroll your shot with all 2-cost champs, but I guess not. There wasn't really that much I wanted. I guess I could try to hit Zillion 2-star, but like that'll show up eventually anyway. The Frostboard really doesn't play a lot of 2-stars. To get back to my point though, as I said, Frostboards get a lot stronger if you can get +1 Frost, because it makes it much easier to play 7 Frost. Frost is one of the big vertical traits in the set, and I believe that there's 7 total units that are Frost units. Let me just double check on that. I've got the cheat sheet here. So Frost, there are, yes, 7 total Frost units. And if you get +1 Frost, it's easy to play 7 Frost, because then you can play 7 Frost and not have to find Diana, who is the 5 cost. Just makes it vastly easier to play 7 Frost. And in addition, if you do find Diana, you can dump one of the crummy units at the end of the game, who's probably going to be Warwick. There's also a really good holder of a Frost emblem, and that is Varus. Varus makes a really, really good Frost unit. So Varus is Blaster unit. He is Blaster plus Pyro. And the way that this works is you can put a Frost emblem on him, and then that makes it easier to, ideally that makes it easier to get to 7 Frost as you play him as a Frost unit. And then you play Nasus. It's kind of like the only Pyro units that are any good in this patch are Varus and Nasus, the 2 4-costs. So you can play the 2 of them. You pick up Blaster from the Varus, and that pairs together with Hwei, who also has Blaster trait. And then you pick up Shapeshifter from Nasus, and that pairs with Swain, who's also a Shapeshifter, and then that gets 2 Pyro in. So you can start stacking up the Pyro team-wide attack speed. So it's just kind of like a natural synergy, and yes, I'm sure this was deliberate on the part of the designers. It's the Fire and Ice, Pyro plus Frost. So it's really nice if you can get +1 Frost and get a Frost emblem somehow, but it does not look like I'm going to do that. After all, I was last pick on the carousel, so the odds that I was going to get a Frost emblem that I was going to get a spatula were pretty small. The good news is we've been banking an awful lot of health here. Both of us have been high rolling to some extent here. Now, I do have an awful lot of 1-stars on my board. The only 2-stars are Twitch and Warwick are the only 2-star units on my board, but I do have a Hwei pair, I have a Zillion pair, I have a Swain pair. ASM has a 2-star Hwei that's going to come over to me any minute now as soon as the send cools down. So I'm actually not that far off having a Hwei 3-star here. I only need a couple more Hweis. I think I need like 3 or 4 more once he sends me the 2-star, which should be pretty doable to get here. So I'm not that far off. Also, it's really nice that I get the belt here so I can make a Gnasher's Tooth. And just like that, I actually get 3 Hweis on my bench, which is actually a little annoying, but then I get this and a lesser champion duplicator. So now I have 1-star Hwei on my board, but I have 4 of them on my bench, and then I have a champion duplicator as well. And ASM now just hit the 2-star Hwei, so now he's going to send me that, and I was like, all right, I'll duplicate this. We go from 1-star Hwei to 3-star Hwei just like instantly on this board, and I was like, well, I thought about maybe rolling on 7, but there's absolutely no point in doing that now. We'll just straight up go to level 8 at the very least, and then we can choose to figure out what we want to do from there. But that was like the fastest to go from 1-star to 3-star, I think I can remember. Then I also have the items here to like do a Jeweled Gauntlet. I was like, all right, you know what? We could potentially do Jeweled Gauntlet, maybe. I'm trying to figure out what that last item could be. But I decided I'll just stop there and we'll stay there. So remember, Hwei's big thing is he paints the targets. They detonate a second later. The 3rd time that he gets his ability, he paints 2 additional targets. His base damage is relatively low, but of course he gets additional ability power from the Frost trait. And then you can also try to do stuff like, you can see I could potentially put a Jeweled Gauntlet on him or a Death Cap, something like that. Now we get the last augment. We knew it was going to be Prismatic, and this is a tough decision. I'm trying to decide, should I just take New Recruit or should I take the Golden Egg? If we're ever going to take the Golden Egg, this is a great position for it, because right here, we have 82 health, we have a ton of health in the lobby, I've just hit 3-star Hwei, ASM has 3-star Ari, so we can actually afford to lose quite a few rounds here, and we can still have this. I also then get a Smolder that pops out of the egg, or excuse me, no, that didn't pop out of the egg, that popped out of a treasure chest from Spoils of War, so I was like, okay, I wasn't planning on playing 4 blasters. I was planning on playing 7 Frost and then just playing 2 blasters, just playing Varus plus Hwei for 2 blasters. But since I've had the early Smolder drop, I was like, You know, if Smolder's going to drop here, the logical thing to do is we'll just look to play 4 blasters here. We'll play 5 Frost, 4 blasters because we hit the Smolder, who's the 5-cost blaster. And I want to play Varus as well. And then that means we'll just need 1 more blaster, so we'll play the Ezreal. And that then means we won't look to play Olaf, or at least not as a major carry. Now, here's the downside to this. I got the golden egg. This thing, it takes 11 rounds to hatch. 11 PvP rounds. If you win a round, the counter drops by 2 instead of dropping by 1. But here's the downside. I have taken something that does not do anything to help me as a prismatic. Like, that golden age is going to hatch eventually, and it's going to be really strong when it hatches. But it's not going to do anything to me until it hatches. So, yeah. And I decided I would roll a little bit here on 8. I actually do want my board to get a little bit stronger here, because if I can win just like a couple rounds and get that golden egg to hatch faster, that would really help out quite a bit. I'm also really trying to find a Varus here. If I can find 1 Varus, I could potentially look to play the 4 blasters, and I think that would help quite a bit. But all I found so far is an Olaf. So yeah, I'm still playing the Smolder. But I have, like, the components for an Infinity Edge on my bench here, and that's a really good item on Varus. So I would really like to play into the Varus if I can. This board here, so here's the 3-star Cogmo board, and I think I would definitely lose to this one. I don't think I would kill the Cog, but in comes ASM. That's really, really nice. So together the two of us are going to win that, and it's going to knock 2 rounds off my golden egg. So I just need this thing to hatch. I mean, again, we have 75 health and everyone else in the lobby is below 30, so it's really a perfect time to play this. But I'm just hoping I'm not going to be punished too much, because I am down a prismatic augment until this hatches. Everybody else got a prismatic that makes them a lot stronger, and I did kind of almost feel like I should have just taken the +1 team size, the one that's effectively a tactician's crown. What was it? It's like gives you a +1 team size and a champion duplicator. I kind of feel like I should have just taken that and like continued pushing tempo, continue pushing pace here in the lobby, because by doing this, like, it does slow my team down a lot relative to the rest of the lobby, and that kind of creates an opportunity for people to come back. By the way, look at this. All these 4 costs, none of them Varus, but all right, finally the Varus shows up. So let's go ahead and try to get this unit on the board. I have an extra Frost unit, so I was like, all right, I guess I'll take out the Twitch, and then I'll take out the Zillion. So we drop down to 4 Frost, but we go up to 4 Blaster, and I really would like to get the 5 Frost back in. And I actually think that an unitemized Olaf is not going to do anything. So I'm actually going to play the 2-star Zillion over the Olaf, but I actually think that's better here, because Zillion could get some really clutch crowd control off. In this fight, we're up against someone who's going vertical bees, which is like not a thing in this set, although they did get +1 Honeymancer. They've managed to hit a couple of their 3 stars, and their board is cutting through me pretty good. It's relatively close, but the Hwei got taken out a little bit too early. Yeah, Smolder's not going to be able to kill all of that. So by going down to the 3 Frost, I definitely did lose some front line, because I lost the you get the 2 Frost soldiers on Frost 5. You only get one whatchamacallit, Frost Soldier at Frost 3. So I'm still rolling here. I definitely thought my board needed to get a little bit stronger. The fact that I'm still on Swain 1-star is definitely hurting me here. Like, Swain is my itemized tank. I am going to find Emilio there. And there we go. I finally hit the 2-star Swain. So at this point, I think I can look to go level 9. I really want to get to level 9, because then I can put in like the Olaf or just some other Frost unit, and then that'll allow me to play 5 Frost again, because that's the board I want. I want 4 Blaster, 5 Frost, 2 Pyro, 2 Shapeshifter. Again, I really wish that I had taken the Vertically Inclined for my second augment, the one that causes me to do additional damage when I'm up against people that are not running any of the same traits as me, because I'm really not running very many traits in this game, and that would have been pretty nice. All right, this fight's a little bit closer. Can I win this one? But no, that's a warrior board, and you can see what happened is because I took the golden egg, I'm doing what often happens when you take the golden egg, is I'm starting to lose these rounds because, again, I'm down a prismatic augment. At least I'm slowly hitting some things, but like, my front line is just a 2-star Swain and then an unitemized 2-star Nasus. I really need some tank items. I'm a little over itemized on carry items here. I really need some more frontline. So we're trading some health for some econ here. Gonna try to get to 9 again. I should have enough health to have the golden egg hatch here, but it's not a style of play I like. This I was starting to feel like this has been unnecessarily risky here in this game by taking the golden egg, and I kind of was regretting the fact that I had taken this right around now. But anyway, not much to do except try to push onwards and try to get this. Oh, and by the way, I had the opportunity to pick up a Swain there, and I opted not to do it. And I really regretted that later on in this game. I definitely should have tried to pick that up. So out of what I can pick up here, I was like, all right, I definitely need frontline more than anything else. So let's go ahead. We'll take the cloak. We'll make a gargoyle stone plate. And then we'll make a Sterix for Nasus, which is a good item on him. And then I also have the chance to pick up a Morgana or a Swain here. I definitely should be picking up the Morgana because I might very well want to play Preserver here. If I'm gonna play the Zillion, then it wouldn't be bad to play that potentially. But on the same token, I was thinking, you know, on level 9, I'm just gonna put in another Frost unit, ideally Diana. And there's just no room to play like a Morgana here. But I certainly should have picked up the Swains. There's no reason not to go for Swain 3-star. We might as well make the effort here because we don't know what's going to pop out of the golden egg. It could be like multiple champion duplicators or something like that. And you see I'm still continuing to lose rounds. I also thought about selling the Olaf, but ultimately decided maybe I won't be able to find Diana on level 9. So we'll hold the Olaf. But yeah, that was 2 Swains I could have bought there. That would be something that would have definitely been nice later on in this game. So anyway, I'm continuing to lose rounds here. I've lost 4 of the last 5 rounds. I still need 4 more rounds for the golden egg to hatch. If I could just win 1 of these rounds, that would drop it from 4 down to 2, and that would really, really make a big difference. I mean, I think we have enough health that this thing will hatch before we run out of HP, but like the lobby's definitely getting closer. Remember, we were at like 80 health when I picked this, and I think everybody else was at like 35 or lower. Lobby's getting closer because later on in the game, you do lose more health when you lose a round, and I'm not really holding up my end of the bargain here. ASM is doing a pretty good job of keeping us afloat in these rounds, but I am not here, and this person's multi-striker board with the 2-star Callista is definitely stronger than what I've got right here. So like Hwei's doing his best, but like that round's not very close at all. So I was like, oh man. It was around this point in time I was really, really wishing I had just taken the +1 team size with the duplicator. Because then I actually would have been able to play 4 Blast or 5 Frost on level 8, and that would have been really nice. But nope, we got to go for the big gamble play with the golden egg here. And I'm like, on our team chat, I'm like freaking out here, and ASM was trying to talk me down off the ledge basically by saying like, no, we're fine, we're we're still in good shape here. But like the lobby has definitely gotten closer. 36 HP to 20, 14, and 2. By the way, that team losing and going to 2 instead of going to 1 is a huge edge because now they can double lose a round before they're actually down on 1 HP. All right, Egg is still on 3 more rounds. I was like, oh my god, can we please win some of these rounds? Really, really would like that. I've tossed in a 1-star Olaf with no items. I'm not sure that that's going to do a whole lot, but at the very least, it does mean that I have the 5 Frost in play. So that's additional AP and AD to all the Frost units, and I get the 2nd Frost statue when one of my units dies. So like that actually does help quite a bit over there. Anyway, and yeah, I'm up against this board here. It's down to just the Hwei. Can Hwei finish off this board? No. I mean, he kills quite a bit. It actually does print me another chest there as well, so we have to keep an eye on what pops out of that. But again, lost another round. Now we're down to 23 health, 23, 28, and 1 in the lobby. I was just like, oh man. There's also a Diana here, so I will definitely take the Diana if I can get that. That would be pretty nice here. Is the Diana going to stay around? And it looks like it's still there. I was like, come on, can I get this? But no, it gets taken. So I was like, all right. I end up taking the Sunfire because I felt like I needed more frontline. I also did not have a heal cut on my team. And you definitely need to have some kind of source of healing reduction. So, yep, I've now lost, what is it? Since we've done 7 rounds since we had the Prismatic Augment. I've lost 6 of the 7 rounds. That is not what you want. I do get a lesser champion duplicator here, and as soon as I see that, I was like, oh, you know, maybe I really should have been picking up Swains earlier. I am going to get 2 components coming over from ASM, so I can go ahead and put this Sunfire Cape up here. And as soon as I see the lesser champion duplicator, I was like, really should have been picking up Swain, shouldn't I? But anyway, we'll keep rolling here, and now I'm out of money. But I do have the duplicator, so that's nice. But I do kind of wish I'd been picking up Swain's earlier. Swain 3-star, if I could somehow hit that, would be just a really, really big spike for my team because he's holding all my tank items. There was also earlier in the game, ASM had like 2 out of 3 Swains. And he was like, should I keep holding these and try to make the 2-star? And I was like, no, I don't think we need to do that. That was also kind of a mistake. He probably could have gotten a 2-star Swain for me. Anyway, I am back to the Tristana, Kog'Maw, Nunu reroll board. This is a very common reroll board. I've said this before in other videos. It's very strong in the mid game, but it definitely gets out-capped in the late game. And yeah, you're kind of seeing that happen. I'm actually kind of winning this round, and I do think that the big difference is I got the Archangel staff for Hwei. He was sitting on like just a rod that had nothing else that was joined to it. He just had like a hanging rod there. But the last gift... Oh, and by the way, because I won, I now finally can cash out the golden egg. And guess what? It gives me a ton of gold and a tactician's crown. This is a gift round here, so I can send something over to ASM. I believe he takes the completed item anvil, if I remember correctly. But yeah, because I won the round, it was 2 stacks for the golden egg. And yeah, now I've got the +1... What is it? Now I've got +1 team size, so I get to play an additional unit here, which is kind of interesting here. I could have taken a permanent 3-star 1-cost champ, but then there we go. There's Diana, so we're just going to slot out the Warwick. We don't want Warwick on this board. Trying to figure out something else, and for the moment, I'll put in the Bard. I can definitely do better than that, and we might as well pick up this, a very cheap charm, to just provide some slight additional front line. So yeah, I definitely need more time to roll here, but now I finally have made the board. We have 5 Frost, 4 Blaster, 2 Preserver, 2 Pyro, 2 Shapeshifter, and this is clearly the board we're going to play. Well, the Preserver might come out. I need, as I said, if I could find Morgana, I would play her over the Bard, but we'll see what I can find. I can definitely find something better, and it looks like my board is definitely stronger now. This one's pretty close. This is the multi-striker board that just ran over me before, but yeah, now all of a sudden we win. It turns out that Archangel Staff is actually a very good item on, what's his name? On Hwei. It's actually a very good item on him because he kind of scales throughout the fights. And he just seems to make good use of this. So now I'm finally able to win around. And I was also able to pick up a Zareth, which is going to be great for ASM's board. Remember, he always plays Ari on this board. So that gets him 1 rank of Arcana trait. And then if he plays the Zareth, he gets another rank of that as well. He would actually take that extra Scholar emblem, and he would end up making Zareth into a Scholar, which is a really good unit to turn into a Scholar. Zareth does crazy high damage when he attacks. He just needs to get his casts off, so that's going to be a nice pickup for him. And we were able to use the Champion Sends pretty well in this game overall. Now, I still have another 50 gold here to roll with. I'd really like to hit Varus 2-star. There's another Varus, and there's another Swain. I decided I'd play the Karma over the Bard. I also had the chance to buy an Artifact Anvil, but I preferred just rolling here. So can we hit... We also can summon the dragon, and it's late enough in the game that that's absolutely worth it. That thing is really strong. So we're finding some more Karmas. I don't need more Ezreals. I'm not going for Ez 3-star. It's too late for that. I'm getting a lot of Nasuses, but don't think I'm going to hit that. I do finally hit the Varus, so that's pretty big. Varus is a key unit. And I actually kind of wish I'd taken the Deathblade here for Varus because I kind of forgot he only had 2 out of 3 items. I ended up taking the Static Shiv and I slapped this on Karma because I actually don't have a MR Shred on my team. But I think actually just getting a Deathblade on Varus would have been better there because he's an AD caster and he just scales off of that. I am up against, this is the multi-striker board, and this is a close round. Unfortunately, though, they managed to get their carries on top of Hwei, so I was not quite able to win that one. But the good news is ASM won his matchup, and so we actually stay very narrowly ahead of them in terms of health. We're at 9 and they're at 6. All right, I'm going to take the free shop refresh here. Could go for Ez3 again. Look at all these Nasuses. I guess I could have maybe gone for freaking Nasus 3-star. There's a Zillion. I probably should have picked this up, but I decided to pass. And there's another Morgana. I probably should have picked up the Morgana there. More Zillions in my store. All right, there's another Swain. So now I'm on, and there's the Karma 2-star, so we'll pick that up. I think that Morgana 2-star would have been better than Karma 2-star, but Karma is not bad here. And the main reason is just that when the Chrono the Chrono time freeze goes off, it does heal my entire team for 20%, which is pretty good. All right, so this is the other board here. Oh, wait, this is the multi-striker board? Oh, the other board's a warrior board. This is the multi-striker board. Yeah, I've had a little bit more success against this one. I beat this board the last time I was up against it. And now that I have 10 units on my board, I'm level 9 with a Tactician's Crown. Now that I have the 10 units, and like I have the 2-star Varus, I have this 2-star Karma that's providing some magic resist shred in the back row. My team has definitely gotten stronger here. So there's Diana 2-star. That is definitely going to help. And by the way, the charm I picked up, that went by very quickly there, but this is actually a really important charm. The charm is going to give me 100% odds to dodge for the first 3 seconds. So auto attacks will not be able to hit my team for the first 3 seconds. That turns out to be critically important because this warrior board has tiny but deadly, which is your units are 50% smaller, but move and attack 30% faster. So watch the combat here at the start, and you're actually going to see every single auto attack on this team is actually going to miss for the first 3 seconds, and that is a huge swing in this game. Talk about a powerful charm. Plus, I also have Diana too. So yeah, look at that dodge, 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 dodge. 3 seconds where my front line can't take any damage is just absolutely enormous. So even though this board ran over me the last time, getting a good charm for me, plus now having Diana 2-star, swings this matchup completely, and now I'm able to win. and knock this person out. And ASM, I believe, also won his round as well. Yeah, he also won his round. So we're going to win, and we're going to knock them out, and that's GG. Biggest regret in that game was my gold augment. I really hated taking that the sword that caused me to do additional damage. And then at the end of the game, I could have had Swain 3-star really easily. I ended up on 6 Swains, and I had a champion duplicator. And ASM was sitting on a 1-star Swain that he could have sent me. So between us, we had 8. With the duplicator and the champion send, but I went by multiple Swains earlier, so we easily could have had that, and 3-star Swain would have capped out my board like really crazy. So definitely a couple mistakes in here, definitely some things I could have done better, but reasonably happy with this game overall. And ultimately taking the golden egg, I mean, we got low, but ultimately my greed was not punished, and it did work out. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this game. Until next time, take care, folks, and I'll see you again soon.